Hi everyone. In this video I am going to explain about throws clause and then throw keyword. Beginners of Java programming language usually gets confused between throws clause and throw keyword, when to use and what is the purpose of throws and what is the purpose of throw keyword. So in this video I will explain about these two things. Let us see the exception hierarchy before I go to the throws clause and then throw keyword. At the root of the exception hierarchy, there is a class called throwable. From the throwable, it is subdivided into error and then exception. So under error, there will be some classes. Exception is further divided into runtime exception and non-runtime exceptions. So anything under runtime exception and error are called unchecked exceptions. So rest of the things are called checked exceptions. Remember, anything under error and runtime exception are called unchecked exception. That means compiler won't bother about these two types, but other exceptions. So under exceptions there will be file not found exception and many other. So these are called checked exceptions. That means checked exceptions means the compiler will care about these exceptions. So for the checked exception, we have to write try catch block, or you have to declare that exception in the throws class. Let us see in an example what does it mean. Remember, for checked exceptions, you have to add the try catch block for that exception or declare that exception in the throws class. Let us see that in example. I have created a main method. From the main method I called first method, and from there I call second method and then third method, like that. Let us run this. We will get output like this. So main invoked first, first invoked second, and second method invoked third. Let us add some file related code. Can you see? When you perform some file operations, there is chance to get file not found exception. So file not found exception is a checked exception. That means file not found exception is a subcategory of the exception. So it will fall under the category of checked exception. That means the compiler will check that exception. So to prevent this error, this exception, now the compiler is giving an error. So to prevent this, what we have to do, you have to write try catch block. So let us add the try catch block. Try and then catch. You have to say file not found exception fe. So can you see? Now the compiler error is clear. That means to prevent this checked exception, either you have to add the try catch block. So by doing this you can eliminate the compiler error, or you can do another thing. That means if you don't want to handle this, try catch means you are handling this checked exception. Another way to prevent, if you remove this, you will get the compiler error. Compiler gives an error saying that there is an unhandled exception. So one way is to add try catch block, that we have covered already. Now what we will do is, we can say that throws file not found exception. So can you see what happened is, now the error is cleared from this method, right? So this method is throwing a checked exception. We can handle this in two ways. Either add try catch block. So by doing this we can eliminate the compiler error, or you have to declare that in throws class. Means after the method you have to say that I am not handling, means I am not adding try catch block. I am not going to, it is the way of telling that I am not going to handle file not found exception. So the method which called the third method should take care of this file not found exception. So now the compiler error is shown here, because as per the checked exception rule you have to add try catch. So let us add here try catch and say file not found exception. Can you see the error is gone? Or if you don't want to handle, say, can you see, if you remove try catch, the compiler is saying that the exception is not handled. So if even this method also doesn't want to handle, then declare throws file not found exception. That means the the method which called the second method, who called this second method? First method. So this error will reach first method. So it has to add a try catch block, or it has to declare throws file not found exception. See what happens. Now I don't want to handle throws file not found exception. That means even the first method is not willing to add a try catch block. That means the method which called the first method should take care. So who called the first method? Main call. So main should add a try catch block, or even it has to declare throws file not found exception. Now let us see what happens. So a checked exception file not found exception is thrown from third method to second method. Throws file not found exception means I'm not going to handle this exception by adding try catch. The method which called this third method should take care. If even second method is not willing to add try catch, it has to declare throws that exception. So finally the control comes to main method. Even main didn't write the try catch. So finally the JVM terminates with the stack trace. So can you see? It shows the call stack. That means main called the first method, and then second method, and then third method, right? So the exception started here. The third method didn't add the try catch, so the control reached the second method, and then second method declared the file not found exception. So the first method should handle, but first method also didn't handle, and the control came to main method. So main also didn't catch the file not found exception. So finally the JVM terminates. So if this should not happen, what we have to do is you have to handle somewhere in the call stack. If no one handles, the JVM terminates. So you can handle here. So can you see? You will not see any exception because main handled the exception. You have to give message something like that. File not found. Please check if file exists or not. Something like that. Now let us see this. You can see that now it prints message something like that. Please check if file exists or not, something like that. Actually, not simply writing the system.out, you have to take some preventive measure, something like that, and prevent this problem. Okay, so basically for the checked exceptions, you have to add the try catch block, or you have to declare that exception in the throws class. That means I am not going to handle the file not found exception. See, when third method declares throws file not found exception, it means that I am not going to add try catch block. Let the method which called this method to take care about the file not found exception. So the exception will reach here. But so to prevent the compiler error, either second method has to declare try catch here, or it has to declare file not found exception. So basically in the call hierarchy, someone should add try catch block. Otherwise the JVM terminates and the application will be terminated. So this is called throws class. And throw means, see, in this scenario the exception is raised automatically, right? Means whenever you add some code related to the file related operations, it is trying to throw an exception called file not found exception. But I am removing this. Even you can say throw file not found exception for testing. So basically the purpose of throw is we can manually create a new exception and throw it. So previously the system automatically throwing some exception. It is happening automatically, but with the help of throw you can create and throw the exception. Means it is kind of manually raising an exception. Understand? So basically the purpose of throws means I'm not going to add any try catch block. The method which called me has to take care, whereas throw is used to raise an exception, means manually creating the exception. If you see the previous line, in this case automatically the file related operation is throwing the exception, file not found exception, right? But if you want to manually raise, you can use throw new. Even you can say throw new exception for my testing. Can you see? Exception and its subclasses are checked exception. That's why it is saying giving an error. Understand? So what you have to do for checked exceptions, you have to write the try catch block, or you have to specify that you have to specify throws. So you can do like this. Can you see? Now what will happen? Now this exception will reach the second method. So it has to write try catch for handling the exception, or it has to declare exception in throws class, like that. If you don't write, the compiler will generate compile time error saying that it has to write a try catch, or it has to declare that exception in the throws class. So if you want to handle all the exception, instead of file not found, you can say exception. You know that exception can handle file not found exception as well as any exception, subclasses of exception. All the subclasses of exception can be handled by exception. That's why we can write exception. So now you can see that. So basically throws is to specify that I'm not going to handle. See, if when this third method declares file not found exception in throws class, it means that I'm not going to handle this exception. Let someone in the call stack, that means who called this third method, it has to take care about the file not found. If it doesn't want to handle, then it should also declare in throws class. Then what will happen? This exception reaches here. So if it wants to handle, it has to add a try catch. Otherwise, it has to declare throws class. Hope you understand. Thank you.